What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am Dial here with another movie review. Today, we're going to be talking about John Wick Chapter 4 that came out a couple of weekends ago. Sorry, I know this review is late. Lots been going on with me. WrestleMania was this past weekend. It was both nights, Saturday and Sunday, so I've been mostly focusing on watching that. Also, I have some family coming in to stay with me for a couple weeks. So I had a lot going on my end, so I barely even had time to watch all the movies that I want to. But I did want to get this review out there before it starts getting even more jam-packed with movies, because like there's so much coming out this year. Super Mario Brothers is coming out really soon. I still haven't seen Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm trying to watch those and give you my thoughts on them when they come out. But anyway, let us get into John Wick Chapter 4. So, man, I never thought we would get this far in the John Wick franchise. You know, coming off of the first movie that was a sleeper hit, nobody thought that it was as good as it ended up being. You know, especially with Keanu Reeves. You know, I'm one of those people that really enjoy Keanu Reeves as an actor. I know he's not the best at delivering lines. I know he's not the best actor out there, but I still enjoy watching him, you know, because he's one of those actors that do play to his strengths, even though, you know, his delivery isn't that great. But you know, he's just so likable and enjoyable to watch. And of course, he's one of the best action stars out there. But even with the first John Wick movie, you know, I didn't have much expectations about it. I was reluctant to see it, but you know, when that first one came out, it blew a lot of people's minds. It ended up being one of the best action movies of the past few years, honestly. And it really started a resurgence of Keanu Reeves' career. Now we're here, and John Wick has become one of the biggest action franchises out there. I really have been enjoying all of the John Wick movies. Uh, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. You know, I enjoy all of them. They're some of my favorite action movies to watch. Me personally, John Wick Chapter 1 is still my personal favorite because I just like the intimate personal story that that movie gave. You know, before it started turning into this big bombastic, you know, action film with a whole bunch of other assassins and a lot of world building, which I do still really enjoy about the other two sequels. But you know, I just like that the first movie was very simple and it was really effective. You know, but I like I said, I did really enjoy Chapter 2. Chapter 3, Parabellum. I really like 2, but it's probably my least favorite of the three. But you know, that's just because the first two were just so good. You know. So of course I was looking forward to seeing another John Wick movie, and I was also wondering where would the franchise go at this point. You know, I'm wondering how are they going to end off John Wick's story overall. You know, because while I am enjoying the action and the world building with all the assassins and the Continental and stuff like that, um, you know, it felt like there wasn't that much, you know, story for them to explore with these films, because you know it does seem, you know, pretty straightforward with what John Wick's goals have been over the past few years. You know, and on top of that, how can they top the action that they've already done with the first three movies? You know, there's like all these really cool action set pieces that they've been building on top of with each sequel. And I'm just wondering, like, very similar with the Fast and Furious movies, how are they going to make it better? You know, so that's one of the reasons why, you know, while I love this franchise, I would like for it to end at some point before it starts getting too stale or it gets overindulgent, very much like the Fast and Furious movies. So with Chapter 4, I was excited because you got Bill Skarsgård, you got Donnie Yen, you got Hiroyuki Sanada. I can't ever say his name right, but you have these really big action stars in this film, and I'm like, perfect. I've been wanting to see someone on the level of a Donnie Yen and Sanada to, you know, to have fighting sequences with John Wick. That's something I've always wanted to see, and it looks like that's what we're going to get in this movie. And you know, Bill Skarsgård is great actor. You know, he's played villains before, very charismatic, very intimidating, very chilling. If going off of his performance as Pennywise in the It movies, I'm expecting some really chilling stuff with his performance in this movie. And overall, I really, really enjoyed this film. I thought it was a blast from start to finish. Once again, they knock it out of the park with this franchise. We're 4 for 4. Like, it's just very rare nowadays you get this far into a franchise and all of them have been consistent in quality. And once again, it's just still proving to why this may end up being one of the best action franchises of all time. I think I'm confident to say that. Um, I personally don't think this is my favorite of the John Wick movies, and apparently I'm in the minority on that. From a lot of people I've talked to, they said that this was probably their favorite or or at least the best sequel that came out, which I totally get. And I think, comparing to all the other films that are coming out this month in March, this may end up being the favorite of all of them. But for me personally, I ended up enjoying Creed 3 more. That may end up being my favorite film that came out this month. But yeah, for a lot of people, this is probably probably the biggest film of March, or will be the biggest film of March. The theater that I was in, it was packed, and everybody was so excited, and like they were into the film from start to finish. So it's really great to see. After all the stuff with the pandemic, it's just great to be in a packed theater again with a whole bunch of other moviegoers and fans of the franchise enjoying the film. So one of the things I was worried about, as I said earlier, was how were they going to top the action scenes they did in the previous movies, and somehow they did. The action scenes in this movie, I'm sure this is a no-brainer when I say this, but the action scenes in this movie are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Honestly, this may be the best action I've seen in the John Wick films up until this point. I don't know, I feel very strongly about it now. I may have to go back and revisit the other action scenes in the previous three. But honestly, I think, yeah, this may be the best action I've seen. Like, man, this is how you do combat scenes. You guys know I've said ad nauseum how much I don't like when action scenes use a whole bunch of shaky cam, quick edits, close-ups, all that stuff. That's one of the things that frustrates me the most about this. There was none of that in this movie. None of it. And there wasn't really any of the previous three movies either, but I just feel like, we need to appreciate more how this film is shot. You can actually see what's going on. It doesn't feel like they're trying to do a whole bunch of camera tricks to hide the fact that they don't know how to shoot an action scene properly, or the actors that they're getting to do the action scenes don't know how to do combat in a movie either. Like, everybody brought their A game as far as the action. Especially Keanu. At his age, he's 58 years old. Let that sink in. He's 58 years old, and he's still doing all of his stunts with ease. Like, Keanu, as I said, one of the best action stars out there. It's like him and Tom Cruise as of late doing the stuff that they're doing at their age. I think Tom Cruise is like only a couple years older than Keanu. I think he's 60. But like, for them to do the stuff that they're doing at their age, it's just remarkable to see. Absolutely remarkable. And of course, the cast of this is really, really good as well. Donnie Yen, he almost stole the whole thing. Donnie Yen was absolutely awesome in this. So his character in this movie is blind, very similar to his character in Rogue One. And I did think his character in Rogue One was interesting, but if you guys have followed my channel, I wish they did more with his character. This honestly feels like a response to that. Like, they gave him in a short period of time, they gave him a compelling backstory. They gave him charisma. They gave him chemistry and connections to other characters that instantly made me invested in him. Like, I thought he was absolutely great. And of course, his fight scenes are incredible. Adding on top of the fact that he's blind, just made it even more interesting how he was being creative with his fight scenes, playing to his environment. And he has some gadgets here and there that he uses to help him out with fight scenes and stuff like that. I thought all that was great. The stuff that he's able to do with his cane, that he's able to, pull out a sword from his cane and stuff like that, I thought all of that was awesome. Hiroyuki Sanada was also great in this movie. Man, I don't think I've ever seen a movie that he was bad in. I think I could say the same thing with Donnie Yen as well. Um, just like even in movies that aren't that great, he stands out. And once again, you know, he delivers on the action scenes as well. Whenever Sonata and Donnie Yen like have a scene together, they make magic. There's one specific scene where they fight each other. This is one of my favorite moments of the entire film. It was absolutely great. It reminded me of those Chinese action films I used to watch when I was younger, like A Crouching Tiger, stuff like that. Like it was amazing, absolutely great. And even I liked who was playing Sonata's daughter in the film. I thought she was really good too. I didn't expect for them to give her that much character, but like I thought she was really interesting too. And she does some really creative stuff with her fight scenes as well. Honestly, like it feels like with those three alone, if they wanted to do a spin-off with these characters, I actually wouldn't I actually wouldn't mind seeing it. I actually would be very interested in seeing a spin-off with these characters. And what I did appreciate though, while they did have their own arcs and stuff in this movie, it didn't take away from John Wick's story. It didn't feel like they put these characters in here to set up for other films. They could easily, but they still made it John Wick's story. And that's something I really, really appreciated. And I thought it was really cool that we got to see other Continentals from different parts of the world. Sonata's character is the head of the Continental in China. Or was it Japan? I'm sorry. Was it Japan? I'm sorry. If I mixed that up, I really apologize. I don't mean to like lump China and Japan in the same category because I know they're very different. But seeing his Continental though, I thought it was really cool. Seeing how different it is from our Continental in America. Another character I did really enjoy was the Tracker, who they call him Mr. Nobody. Um, Man, it's funny that they use that actual name because that's an actual character from the Fast and Furious movies. I'm sure Universal's not going to do any lawsuits with that. But I thought he was pretty good too. He was pretty solid. Um, I did like his action beats as well. I didn't think he stood out as much as Donnie Yen and Sonata, but he did play an interesting factor in the movie, um, being like some sort of like ally to John Wick, but not really. So I thought it was kind of interesting. The dog that he has though, that's with the Tracker, awesome. I love that they brought that back, from the previous movies, because it's all about the dogs in these movies. They actually make you care for the dogs. But like this dog specifically, when he's attacking people, it's awesome. Like Lily jump scares, jumping out of nowhere, like vicious, just absolutely vicious. I loved it. Once again, Ian McShane, I thought was very good. Um, didn't have too much to do. He was pretty much just giving exposition and telling John Wick where to go specifically. But still, I just love his presence. Even if stuff that's not that great that he's in, like Pirates of the Caribbean and other stuff like that, like I still love Ian McShane as a performer, as an actor. Like he has such charisma. He commands a room, So there's something I could never take away from him. But I thought he was pretty solid. And then Lawrence Fishburne returns again as the Bowery King. Once again, I thought he was really good, but they did not give him much to do. Very similar to Ian McShane, there to give exposition and help John Wick with some stuff here and there. But still, I'm glad to see him anyway. And also, it's a very similar thing with Lance Reddick's character, the late Lance Reddick, who passed away not too long ago. May he rest in peace. Lily, he's only in a couple of scenes, and that's it. I was a bit let down by that because he did play a bigger role in the previous movie. but still, I'm glad to see him. They did find a way to like end his character off. I'm kind of mixed of how they did it, but they did find a way to like put his character to rest. So there won't be any conflicts, if they wanted to continue with the franchise after this. So, but yeah, um, we lost Lance Reddick too soon, man. He's very good actor, very very good actor. Another person I was really shocked about in this movie was Scott Adkins. Um, Dude, he playing a completely different person in this movie. I didn't even recognize him. He's the guy in the fat suit, playing like this what is Italian gangster or whatever. Is I've got similar vibes to Colin Farrell as the Penguin in this. Like Scott Adkins like transformed himself, playing a completely different person. I didn't even recognize him, but I thought he was great. He had one of the standout scenes in this movie as well, and he actually fought in his fat suit as well, like full on. And I was just blown away by the stuff they were doing in this movie. But yeah, Scott Adkins I thought was great. Now, some of the things that I was kind of disappointed with, where I personally don't feel like this is the best of the John Wick movies. One of them has to be Bill Skarsgård. Him being like the main villain of the movie. I didn't think he was bad. I just didn't feel like they gave him that much to do either. It seems to be a pattern with some of these characters in this movie, but him especially, since he's the main antagonist. He had such a presence in the trailers, and I almost was hoping we would see like some sort of fight scene, action set piece with him, but no, he's just the main head guy running everything and telling everyone what to do, twisting the system with the assassins and the Continentals and stuff like that. Which I mean, I felt like we seen this before, and I just wish they did something different as far as the antagonist, because Bill Skarsgård, man, like he could do more than just like call orders and stuff like that. And part of his character really felt very mustache twirling, him being like the Frenchman and throwing on this very strong accent. But yeah, I was a bit underwhelmed with Bill Skarsgård personally. Another issue I had was the runtime. This movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I felt like it didn't really need to be that long. Once again, I think I'm in the minority on this because a lot of people say that they weren't bothered by the runtime. The people I know that saw this movie, they said that the runtime didn't bother them. For me, it did. I did start to feel its length by the time we started getting to the last couple of big action set pieces. I really started to feel the length. Um, and another reason why I had a problem with the runtime is that, as I said, the story is so straightforward. They're not trying to do anything like complicated or different than what they've done before. It's just more and more world building and exposition. And, I just felt like they probably could have cut like maybe 10, 15 minutes of this movie, and I think it would have felt a lot better. But, I guess I'm in the minority on that. Another thing we got to talk about is Keanu Reeves. You guys know, as I said, I love Keanu Reeves, but I felt like his delivery in this movie wasn't as good as it was in the previous movies. He felt a lot more stiff in this. I don't know. I mean, and once again, I know that Keanu is not the best actor, so this is probably not a surprise to people, and they probably didn't even notice it in this movie. But for me, I just felt like, especially with the first John Wick, it felt like his performance was a lot stronger. It felt like his delivery, he was trying harder. This one, there was a couple of moments his delivery felt very awkward and stiff. And I don't know. Is it because Keanu's not trying? Is it because, his direction wasn't as good? Or is he feeling tired? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I don't know. I'm hoping it's not a reoccurring thing the more we see Keanu in films, other than the John Wick movies. I don't know what else he's going to plan on doing, but like that's something I just started to notice with this film. But overall, I still thought this was a really enjoyable film. I definitely don't think this is bad. This is still a worthy sequel to the John Wick franchise. I had an absolute blast. The action set pieces in this movie are incredible. I thought most of the characters were really good, specifically Donnie Yen and Haruki Sanada, and her daughter in this film. I thought they were very very good. Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne and Lance Reddick, even though they weren't given much to do, they were still really really good. I was a bit disappointed with Bill Skarsgård as a villain. I wish he had more to do. I wish the movie was a bit shorter. I didn't feel like it needed to be that long. Um, but yeah, and overall, I think this is a good movie to end off on if they wanted to end the John Wick franchise. They're probably not going to end it because it's probably going to do really well at the box office. I think it already is doing really well at the box office. And they already greenlit a couple of spin-offs too. So we're definitely going to see more from this universe. But as far as like making another film with John Wick as the main focus, I feel like they don't need to do any more with him, because I feel like they concluded his character really well in this film. And I think it would be kind of it would feel forced if they tried to bring Keanu back for another movie. Like the only thing I could see them doing at this point with the character is maybe doing a prequel with John Wick, maybe seeing him how he became the Baba Yaga, or in his prime years being the best assassin in the world. But I am looking forward to the spin-offs. I think there's a Continental spin-off, and then there's another spin-off with Ana de Armas. Or is she in the Continental spin-off? I'm not sure. But either way, there are two spin-offs coming, so I am looking forward to seeing how they are. Hopefully they'll stay with the same quality as the movies are. But yeah, overall I thought this was a really, really good film. Comparing this to the other movies, I think this is probably my third favorite. Like I said, I think the first one is still the best. And honestly, I like chapter 2 a little bit more. But I did enjoy this more than Parabellum, Chapter 3. But yeah, either way, all four of these movies are really good. So overall, I will give John Wick Chapter 4 a B+. But yeah, those are my thoughts on John Wick Chapter 4. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? How does it compare to the previous three movies? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. There will be more movie reviews coming out in the near future, so tune in for those when it comes out. But if you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And please hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you John Wick fans, and I will see you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.